All right, good morning, everyone. I'll call the July regular meeting of the Talbot County Board of Tax Assessors to order. Let's see, the first item is to approve the agenda and any additions.
I make a motion to approve it.
No, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, all right, the agenda is approved. And then I want to welcome Hubert Bickley to the board. Hubert, we look forward to working with you and welcome you to the Board of Tax Assessors. And I know you've served for many years on the Board of Equalization, and that I know with all your experience in forestry and real estate and from the Board of Equalization, you'll be bring valuable insights and all, and be an asset to the board.
And I know that in our minutes from last month, Mr. McCants stated that July 31st would be his last day on the board. But upon discussing it with Carol, he decided to submit his letter stating that June 30th would be his last day on the board to just kind of coincide with the end of the fiscal year and everything. And so we got Hubert sworn in, and the Board of Commissioners appointed him at the first of the month, and he was sworn in, and so everything's good to go on that, and he's going to training next week.
Okay, great. Okay. All right, let's say welcome again. And then, last month's meeting, Omar surprised us with his stating that he intended to resign. So, okay, let's see. Moving on then to the approval of the minutes from last meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look over the minutes?
Yes.
I guess Sandra, that'd be you, since you and I. Did you have any corrections?
No, I didn't. Everything looks good.
Okay.
I read through them.
Okay. Let's see, Sandra, you'll make a motion to approve the minutes, and maybe I'll second them since Hubert wasn't there.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 9 meeting as presented.
Okay, and then I'll second the motion. There's no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, let's see. Then moving on, Lauren, your old business, you're gonna give us an update on the personal property audit.
Yes, sir. I sent you all an email that I got this morning from Al. Did y'all receive that and have a chance to look over it, or not yet?
I saw it, you sent it just a few minutes ago, look like.
Yes, sir. It just came first thing this morning.
Why don't you give a high level overview, and then you can put it as part of your record package.
Okay. He just sent an email out this morning that reflected the fact that there were 6 audits ready and that have been uploaded. There was some question about the RL Bishop accounts. Those audits had been approved, but then it was found that there were some duplicates. So he's looking back over those to possibly make some changes. And so I know he did a field visit there when they were in the county about 2 weeks ago. And so that's being worked. And then there are several other accounts that have been worked and are just waiting on approval. Those were the first 7 that were listed in the email. And so in your packet on page 5, there is a high level summary of the entire audit process. And you can see there that the audit process is 77% complete. That leaves 141 remaining audits. And it shows what's been completed for each month and so on and so forth. With that being said, there are 4 checks remaining to be mailed to the audit company. We had discussed the fact that we were holding those pending audits being completed. And I calculated this morning, and at 77% complete, that's, you know, it's a little more than 24%. But if we divide that 24% by the 4 checks, that's 6% per. So my plan is, as this audit moves up 6%, I will, at that point, I will mail a check. And then when it moves up 6% again, I'll mail the next check. As long as y'all are in agreement with that, that's going to be my plan on how to move forward with making those payments. Does that sound fine?
Well, I'm more concerned, make sure they're making progress in getting it done. That just for Hubert, just to update you, we had the consultant contract. It's been going on 3 years, and it was supposed to be through June 30th. The money was in, these past 3 fiscal years. And of course, the county started a new fiscal year, July 1. And so what we were instructed was, the county is giving Lauren checks, I guess dated back in June. And but the consultant wound up, they had some staff that left and had to replace them. And so they've just gotten behind as contractors do, I guess, sometimes. And so we're pushing them to get completed. Of course, we want it done right, done at the highest degree of professionalism. But these are the personal property audits of businesses and boats and planes and that kind of thing. And so let's see. Lauren, you say there were 141.
I have given him an update on that somewhat too, Dan.
Okay, great.
And as I was saying, we have been seeing quite a bit more activity. We have a shared drive, and so as they're active in that shared drive, we can see the activity and the accounts that they're working on. And they have been in the county doing field reviews, and so we are seeing the activity starting back up again, and we feel like that there is progress being made. So
okay, so you sort of see activity and boots on the ground and visits and
yes,
reports
sir.
being,
and and like you said, we are wanting things to be completed, and we're anxious to get it done. And so, but at the same time, we do want good work with the highest degree of professionalism. And so
we want all the review, Al to review the work of his folks before he gives it to you, and
correct,
you to review it, you and Jan, before you present it to us. So
yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, so that's
so you're satisfied that it's moving along.
I am. It is moving along. I don't know that I can say at this point that I'm satisfied, because I would like to be seeing results. But at the same time, it kind of is what it is, and I am happy to see work being conducted again on the audit when we have been just completely stalled for the first, 5 months out of the year.
Right.
So
have you and Al discussed a sort of a tentative date to be finished? I mean, do they have a goal?
I have asked him for that, and he is unwilling to set a projected date, because he says that there are so many moving parts, like certain accounts may take much longer to audit than others. And so that's why I was discussing with y'all the fact that as that percent complete moves up 6% each time, then I will issue a check at that point.
Okay, well, I just think they sort of need to go, you know, to something to be shooting for, even if it does slip, okay, all right. Let's say there's no action for us as a board at this
No, well, I'm
time. This
not
is just a
Dan,
status
I'm not done.
update.
Dan, I'm not
Uh-huh.
done. There is some action. So on pages 6, 7, and 8, you will see 3 audit summaries. And and those 3 summaries are going to require a motion to approve the audits so that assessment notices can be issued.
Okay, so you do have some to present today. Okay, I'm sorry.
So the first one is IGT Global Solutions. For 2017 and 18, there's no variance, but for 2019, there's a $285 variance that an assessment notice will be issued on. And the next one, it's actually, I see now that there's no variance, so that one's not going to require action. And then public service data will require action for all 3 years, 17, 18, and 19. There is a small variance that's going to require an assessment notice. So I need approval to send assessment notices on those 2 accounts.
Okay, so you're presenting these for approval this morning.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, let's have a motion to approve these 3 account reports as presented.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the presented.
Hey, I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the personal property audits, these 3 as presented. Is there any further discussion or questions for Lauren? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Okay, all right, thanks, Lauren. Does that wrap up your personal property
It does, yes, sir.
report? Okay. Yeah, I don't think, let's just keep pushing them to get done. And like I say, when we hire, outside consultants, to provide professional services, we look for it to get done, that and I believe you said the other day that the new staff they hired was a former chief appraiser.
Yes, sir, she is.
So they did bring some folks on board to help get it done. So okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's see if there's no other questions for Lauren on her status update. If there are none, we'll move on to the new business. Let's see. First item is errors and releases.
Yes, sir. I have 3 for Carrie and Deborah Thornton for digest years 2018, 19, and 20. And they submitted an appeal, and during the appeal review, we realized that there was an issue with the square footage on the home that was fairly significant. And so he requested a refund on those years. I have issued the ACOs and am recommending approval.
You want me to go ahead and make a motion for the approval?
Okay, Sandra, you said you're making a motion to approve the error and releases.
Yeah, it's presented for Carrie and Deborah Thornton.
Okay, I'll second the motion for Thornton.
And we have a motion and a second to approve the error and releases for the Carrie and Deborah Thornton as presented and recommended for approval by Lauren. Is any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. All right, let's see, then the next item is the fiscal year budget review. Let's see, Lauren, I believe that's the budget for the past year, is that right?
It is. This is current through the 31st of May, so we still have the 1 month for that fiscal year that has not been processed, but you can see there that we do have some overages, the main one being in the Q Public, and that is for the appeals module that was put on and was approved prior to by the Board of Commissioners. So they know about that specific overage, and we'll be moving things from another account to cover it. So overall, everything for last year's budget looks really good. There's no action. This is just for your information.
Okay. All right, does anyone have any questions for Lauren about the that budget? That's that inter-office memo from Carol with the budget report for May. Okay, if there's no questions or discussion, we'll move on. Next item is a 30-day change of assessment.
Yes, sir. And here is a list of the assessment notices that have been sent since the 45-day notices were mailed. These are the list for the property accounts that have been changed since our last meeting. And that previous value, of course, is the 2020 value. It's not the value before we made the change. And all of these were changed based on information that was gathered once the taxpayer called in after they had received their assessment notice. A lot of these are appeals, and since this 30-day notice was issued, these appeals will most likely fall off the appeals and be settled. So this is just a summary of those. Y'all have any questions about them?
Okay, just to be clear then, these are values that have been changed since the 45-day notice. And so the property owners will be getting a new 30-day notice, giving them 30 days to appeal. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I do need a motion to approve these new values.
I make the motion to approve the 30-day change of assessment on real and personal property as presented.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the 30-day notice of assessments as presented for approval. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, all right, thanks, Lauren. And let's see, then the next item is the current appeals report.
Yes, sir. And there is no action required on this. It's just an update. This is a list of the current active appeals that we have. You can see the name, the parcel number or the account number, and then the status. And you'll notice that some of those say 30 days, some say active. And then the appeal type is either R or P. The R stands for real and the P stands for personal. So we do have 4 personal property accounts that are under appeal. They're all with ADT. So the final page of the active appeal list on page 18 of your agenda packet shows the total count. And that's 4 personal, 68 real. And then that VID column is the value in difference. That's the value that they asserted that they felt like their property should be versus the value that we have. So on the personal property, all four accounts, the value and difference is a total of $1,824. And then on real property with all 68 accounts, the value and difference is 1.3 million. So that's the active appeal list, and there's no action required there unless y'all, but I'm open if anybody has any questions.
Okay. Let's see, the four personal ones they're all involved the same company, ADT. And am I correct to assume that that was one of the personal property audit reports where they got a new notice?
It was the one from, no, they're actually they're not, I believe, they're not appealing their assessment notice. They're appealing this year's notice. I mean, they're not appealing their audit. They're appealing this year's notice of assessment on all four accounts. So it's not, they're not appealing their 45-day audit notice. They're appealing their normal 2021 45-day audit. I mean, 45-day notice.
Oh, I see that. Okay, that's why it's appeal year 2021. Okay.
Yes, sir. And there's just basically they're saying that a certain type of property should be classed as a certain category versus what we have is different, and so that's the issue for the appeal on that one.
Okay. And ADT, is that security alarm?
It is, yes, sir.
Okay. I'll just. Let's see. Let's see, why don't you break quickly? I see a number of them on here, Oak Mountain. I guess since our last meeting, we had that, I guess a package that came in the mail with a list of names. I think one of the owners went around getting folks to sign what she called a petition or letter of concern or whatever. But
Yes, sir.
It appears a number of those have current appeals, active appeals.
They do, and 14 of them are from one gentleman that owns numerous lots that he bought in a tax sale. So, and then the other ones are just various homeowners within that subdivision. But as you mentioned, we did receive a petition from various homeowners within the subdivision with signatures on it. All of those people did not file an appeal. And the appeals are just the ones that are listed here on the active appeal list.
Okay. Yeah, I see one name of a lady that called me. And of course, I stressed to her that, to preserve her rights, that she needed to file an appeal. And I see it looks like she filed on 2 parcels that she owns.
And I did send her an agenda application via email and confirmed that it was received. I did not receive it back. I just wanted her to have that application if she wanted to appear before the board today, but I never heard anything further on that after I sent the agenda application.
Okay.
I made to make a comment on Stephen Reynolds, Oak Mountain. This guy has appealed before when I was on the board, and most all of his properties he buys at a sheriff's sale and for very low values. And I remember what we ruled on it, but we changed it down pretty close to what he paid for. And I'm sure that's 3 years has passed since he was up there. If it's not, then the reval would eliminate that.
So the 3 years has passed since his the appeal that you're discussing, and these lots, they don't necessarily join each other. And the reason that he purchased those I would assume would be for investment purposes. And as lots sell, we have to use those values to set our current values. And it would be negligent of us to keep those values at the price that he paid for them and then him turn around and sell them, and it would skew the ratio study by the Department of Audit. So we brought those lots up to current fair market values within the county based on their location within the subdivision.
Okay.
And let's say, Lauren, just to review the process, of course, we just approved a few minutes ago the 30-day notice of assessments on a group. And I see on these active appeals, am I correct? Am I understanding correct that some of these y'all are still reviewing with information presented by the property owner, site visits, and some you may have a 30-day notice if you make a change, and then if there's no change, they may proceed on, to the be sent to the Board of Equalization if they.
Yes, sir. So each one of these will be field reviewed, and the appeal will be discussed with the homeowner or the taxpayer if it's appropriate. And then at that point, if we make changes, the 30-day notice will be mailed. If there's no change, once we have completed the review process, we will send them a no change letter. Those will all be mailed at the same time. And once that no change letter is sent, we start the timeline of moving them to the appeal administrator for the BOE hearings.
Okay, all right. And then I see there's 68 on the real property and then 4 on those personal property.
Yes, sir.
They're pending, okay. Okay. And I guess compared to prior years, that's still not an unusual number, is it?
No, sir. Well, during our last reval year, we started with over 100 appeals. And so it was not a surprising amount to me. No, sir.
Okay.
It's a very minute amount when you look at the fact that we've got close to 7,000 parcels.
Okay. All right. So let's see, this is an update, no action on our, does anyone have any questions for Lauren on our update and report?
No, I do not.
I don't.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Lauren. I know y'all have been busy and okay, let's see. Then the next item is homestead applications for 2021.
Yes, sir. So here you will find 4 homestead applications for digest year 2021, and you will see that those are the S5, which is the disabled veterans exemption. So that's the reason that we have accepted those applications for the current digest year. And we're recommending approval on all 4 of those. We have the appropriate documentation. And once we get your approval, I will make the error and release forms so that the tax commissioner's office can get the ones that are due a refund on previous years back. Mm-hmm. And for Mr. Fick, there will be no ACO because his S5 was valid for 2021. With Press Hall, that's a 2020, so there will be a refund for last year. Mm-hmm. And for Mr. and Ms. Walton and DeSue, those were both 2019, so there will be a 2019 and a 2020 correction.
Okay, and if I understand, that's in accordance with that Georgia code or section, the law that changed here 2 or 3 years ago that I think the Veterans Administration, they were getting behind in processing them, and the Georgia law was amended to allow the taxpayer or allow the refunds for prior years, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Right, okay. So let's see, and I guess we need to do these as, like you've got on the agenda, two separate items of business. So
Yes, sir.
do we want to, let's see, so you're recommending a motion to, I see you approve in the right column. So you're recommending approve the 4 homestead applications as presented for digest year 2021 that have the S5 exemption.
Yes, sir.
I make a motion for the board to approve the 4 applications as presented.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the applications as presented and recommended for approval. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. All right, then we'll move on to the current year homestead application, or next year, I'm sorry, homestead applications for 2022. So these are the ones that have come in the door for the next April 1st deadline of 2022. So these are new ones for next year.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we have all the appropriate documentation on those as well. And so you will see the recommendation on those is approved, and the level of the exemption is in the exemption column. And so I'm recommending approval on all of the homestead exemptions that are listed in your spreadsheet.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the 10 homestead applications for 2022 as presented.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the homestead exemption applications for digest year 2022 as presented and recommended for approval. Is there any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, all right, thanks, Lauren. And then the next item is the Forest Land Protection Act. Let's see, you have some applications. Okay, I see, looks like you got one FLIPA application.
Yes, sir. That's the parcel that's listed on the spreadsheet for Lanier Edwards. It's a continuation, and we're recommending approval on that.
Okay. And if I understand when it says that means it's probably changed hands.
It did.
It did.
And
So that's a new owner then that's continuing a previous.
right. And then once the they didn't come in before the 1st of April, we sent a notice letting them know that they had a certain time period to submit the application, and they have gotten us all the proper documentation. So we're recommending approval on that.
Okay. All right, let's see, do we have, let's see then. So you're recommending approval. So we need a motion to approve the FLIPA exemption application as recommended for approval.
Okay, I make the motion to approve the FLIPA for Lanier Edwards as presented.
I second the motion for Lanier Edwards.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, let's see then, let's see, there's no release or let's see, is any other business on G there or do we move
No,
on?
sir, we don't
to
have any
Cuba?
releases or breaches.
Okay, all right, so then we move on to the conservation use and the CUVA applications.
Okay.
Let's see.
we have several applications here. You'll see the parcel numbers, the owner name, whether it's a continuation, a new application, or a lease, and the recommendation. We're recommending approve on all the applications. We will have to have a separate motion for the applications and then a separate motion for the release. And the release is for the Marie King Living Trust. And we are recommending approval on that. It's a voluntary breach due to the owner's age.
Okay. And then I see two of them you got here marked new. Would that be application for next year for 2022?
No, they're applications that were filed in lieu of an appeal during the appeal period.
Oh, okay. So that's right. So they can, that's right. During the appeal period, they can file a CUVA. And it was when you share, I know y'all share with folks all the programs and to see if they've, to make sure they're aware of all the different programs. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're recommending approve all four. Okay. So we need let's see, I guess a motion to approve the CUVA exemption applications is recommended for approval.
I make the motion to approve.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the CUVA applications as recommended and presented for approval. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. And then let's see, now we need a motion to approve the release. Let's see, one release that's presented for approval.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the conservation use release for Marie King Living Trust as presented.
I second the motion. Mary King Living Trust.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion passes. Okay, all right, thanks, Lauren. And let's see then, let's see, the next item is to approve the preliminary digest for personal property.
Yes, sir. And I have got on pages 22, 23, well, let's see, pages 22 through 28 in your digest packet is the taxable personal property. It shows a listing of each taxpayer, whether or not there was a return filed, an audit date if applicable, account number, the property class, tax district, current previous year value, and current year value. And then on page 28, there's a summary, and you can see that personal property accounts, and most of this is due to the audit, are up $9 million.
Okay, I see from 70,781,446.
That's the
That's
2020 value.
2020, and then the current year is 79,575,214.
That's correct.
And then back to your appeal list, there were the 4 appeals. Am I understanding correct then out of all of this, there's only 4 appeals pending?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. And so, let's see, you're looking for us to approve this preliminary digest. And I believe that's so you can forward it to Mr. Huff.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the preliminary digest of personal property?
I make the motion to approve the preliminary digest for personal property as presented.
I second the motion to approve the personal property value.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the personal property, the preliminary digest for personal property. Is there any discussion? And I guess, Lauren, I think we're well within the timeline on your wall there as far as the getting things to the tax commissioner and I guess
Yes,
the county
sir, we
commissioners
are.
and all, so they can compute the millage rates and all that to all the different governing authorities, the cities,
Yes, sir.
and the school board and all. So, okay. And if I understand, I think that's what these preliminary numbers are used for is.
It is, that's correct.
Okay. Okay. Let's see if it's no board discussion or other questions for Lauren. All those in favor say aye. Okay. Let's see, Hubert, did you vote?
Yes,
Okay,
did.
okay, motion, okay, all right, motion passes. Okay, all right, thanks, Lauren. And let's see, then the next item is to approve the preliminary digest for real property.
Okay, and so that digest report was substantial. It was a couple of thousand pages. So I emailed a PDF of that to each of you individually just for review. But I have included the consolidation sheets that give a high-level overview of the real property digest. But I do need approval of the real property digest for submission to the tax commissioner.
Okay. Okay, Sandra, you're making a motion to approve the preliminary digest for real
I second
property.
the motion.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the preliminary digest for real property. And let's say I see the value, the codes on the left there, Lauren, the R, the H, A. I assume that's like residential and is that the property classes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then
Now the consolidation sheets are a different agenda item next.
oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so this goes back to the emails you sent us with all the voluminous 1,500 plus pages of okay. All right, let's say we got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Okay, the motion passes and we've approved the preliminary digest for the real property. And then the next item is consolidation reports. Unless I guess that's what I was starting to look at on page 29. I guess the last 3 or 4 pages of our packet, 29 through 32. And I guess this summarizes what we just acted on. Is that right?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay. You want to give us a high level overview or?
Yes, sir. And this is for all tax districts. So a countywide consolidation sheet. And as you were asking, the code represents the class and the strat of the property in question. The count is the number of those of properties or items within that digest code, total acreage, and then the value. So on page, that starts on page 29, and then on page 30, there's a total personal property, total real property, and then the exempt property is listed individually as well. And you might notice here that the total personal property here showing 32 million. So, and that number, it varies from the number that is on the other report, and that's just the taxable versus non-taxable and what's exempted. So, like you said, it's just a high-level overview of the digest, the overall digest.
Okay. And let's see, is that agricultural?
It is, yes, sir.
Okay, and then the V, is that conservation use?
It is.
And then is F flipper?
No, J is flipper.
Of J is flipper, okay.
F is, gosh, so V's conservation, J. I'm trying to think. We don't have many of those. Let me look at my spreadsheet and see if my cheat sheets over here that can tell me what F is. Furniture and fixtures, that's personal property.
Oh, okay, that's personal. Okay, that's furniture and fixtures. Okay. I was just glancing at like the Cuva and Flipper. It looks like the Cuva's 123,000 acres, Flipper's 73,000 acres. And so that's roughly 200,000 acres. I'm just looking, and then agricultural is 25. It looks like the vast majority of the rural property is in one of the programs.
Yes, sir, it is.
Right, and then the we have a high percentage of the property that's in timber production or whatever, that's in one, the conservation program. So
Yes, sir.
I got two questions. Is Big Liza Wildlife Management Area is owned by the state of Georgia? How is that accounted for?
It's exempt.
Okay.
so that's the next page where it's E is exempt.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's, well, I see that's the 15,000 acres. And I guess a big part of that is probably Big Liza, and then also the land between Geneva and Junction City that's in the, well, I guess it was a Nature Conservancy, but who is it now?
I'm sorry, say that again.
That fall lines, seem like didn't the Nature Conservancy, do they own it, or did they deed it to some other group?
Honestly, Dan, I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
But that would fall in this exempt too, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, right, and so that's those fall line. I guess it's that property that was mitigating the Fort Benning development expansion. I guess the Fort Benning expansion, but I guess the fall line sand hills. I think that's what I was trying to think of. And so yeah, we do have a large. Our county is a little unique, and we have a large amount of exempt property as well.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
And my second question was on timber. It was showing, is that 89 timber sales reported?
Where do you see that?
down there where it says timber next to the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yes, 89. That's the total count. Those numbers those are not our numbers. Those numbers are given to us by the tax commissioner's office. The MV, the MH, the timber, and the heavy duty, those
Okay.
are things that are collected by them, and they are given to us, and we input it to add it to the chart for the calculations for the digest.
Seems kind of low, but the number is, I mean, I thought it'd be more timber sales than that.
Like I said, those numbers, they're not our numbers. I don't come up with them. That question would have to be asked to the tax commissioner's office.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. And let's see, Lauren, is this the summary? This is just a report for our information,
Yes, sir.
sort of going over what we just acted on in the motion. So you don't need a motion.
Correct.
Okay. How does this compare with last year? I guess with in our, I know with our sales study, and we adjusted the values this year. I assume it went up some from last year.
I'll have to pull that report. Hold on just a minute. I have not done a comparison.
Well, if you don't have it readily available, that's fine. I just was,
I could email last year's to y'all once the meeting's over.
okay, that'd be good to know. I just thought when I talked to Carol and others, it's good to have that available, that information. And so, but these are the numbers. The next item is authorization to forward the tax digest files to the tax commissioner. And so I take it this is the information you'll be providing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, I will forward them the consolidation sheets. I've already given them preliminary consolidation sheet, but there were still changes taking place because of appeals and stuff like that, just so that they could begin the process. But I will give them this consolidation sheet, and I will transfer the digest file so that they can begin work on their digest preparation.
Okay, and that's so they have a deadline of what, September, or that's so they
Yes,
meet
sir.
they meet their deadlines and do their part. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see, are there any more questions for Lauren on her report here about the consolidation report sheets?
No, sir.
None.
Okay, all right, thanks, Lauren. So, let's see, so then your next item is authorization to forward the digest files to the tax commissioner.
That's correct. Yes,
So
sir.
you want looking for a motion from us to authorize you to forward the tax digest to the tax commissioner.
Yes, sir.
I make the motion I make the motion to approve that.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to give Lauren the authorization to forward the tax digest files to the tax commissioner. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thanks. Okay, let's see, Lauren, your chief appraiser update to keep us up abreast of what's going on.
Yes, sir. I've
Over your office.
got several things to discuss here. I guess the first being the update on our situation with the building and so on and so forth. I sent you guys earlier this week a picture of the sign that was installed. And that looks really nice, and it's out there in front of the office, and it's replaced the previous sign that we had out front. And if you've noticed, it does just have Board of Assessors on there. We have gotten word from the county commissioners that this building will be just for the tax assessor's office. They have a plan to relocate, and so that plan is that there is the old EMS building, that's kind of, when you look out our front door and to the right, it's there was an old kind of beigeish yellow house there that the EMS used to occupy.
Right.
And behind that, the county has built a maintenance shed for all of the maintenance stuff. And so that stuff's being moved there so that elections can be moved out of the jail building that where the old Maxway used to be, and that the elections will be moved out to the complex that used to house the sheriff on the highway going to Geneva. So, excuse me, it's my understanding that the Board of Commissioners have approved a plan that they will demolish the old EMS building, so that house will be totally torn down. They have been working over the last month on getting that cleaned out, and the building has been emptied at this point. So that's going to be demolished. There will be a new complex being built there on that site for the county commissioners. And the projected date on that being completed is sometime in the spring of 2022. At that point, the county commissioners will move into their new complex, and the building that houses the county commissioner's office now will be made into the tax commissioner's office. They have also approved some work to be done here on this building for us. We will be, as soon as the tax commissioner's office gets the final things of theirs cleared out of that side of the building, we can start doing that. There will be carpet replaced, and we have found that there are hardwood floors in the office in the back of there that has a really old green carpet in it. And so I think that we have discussed pulling that up and refinishing the hardwood floors in that portion of the office, and making some changes to the layout of the desk and things in the front portion of that office. And then
So you think you're thinking of making one of those into a conference room?
yes, that very back office that used to be Mr. Huff's office, it's my hope that we will be able to have a boardroom there, and have our meetings and everything in there. And I know that a lot of the county governments are live streaming their video, their meetings, even once they are back in person, just to make them more accessible to the public. And so we have discussed setting things up in there so that we have a projector and the appropriate equipment to continue to live stream the meetings once we are back meeting in person. So all of that's in the works. And Mr. Hendricks and I have also discussed the parking situation that we have here in the front of the office. We've just got the one handicap spot and one regular parking spot. And it's very hard to get in and out of the office. So he is in the process of getting some quotes to kind of pave us a horseshoe shaped drive there in the front that allows parking kind of at an angle so that people can pull in, they can park, they can back out, and then continue on around the circle. And so that fence that's in the front of the building with the bricks and the wrought iron would be removed. But that right now is just something that Mr. Hendricks and I have discussed. He is going to get some quotes together so that he can present that to the county commissioners So there are lots of things in the works, and it sounds very promising.
Well, I've
for-
got, when I mentioned about inviting Ronnie to one of our meetings to share with us what's going on. So it sounds like you've coordinated with him, and sound like there are a lot of new developments this is news to me. I wasn't aware of the new building and all that going on. I know that'll improve.
It was just announced, the county commissioners met Monday or Tuesday, and it was just announced at that meeting. So this is very new information.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, well, I knew Ronnie had indicated to me that he had an architect working on something, and he and I talked about just how the downtown could use some sprucing up. I'm still wondering about whether we want to, why don't we have him come give us an update? And that way we can, why don't we still plan on that?
Okay.
But I'm glad you're coordinating with him. That's what I didn't want to do, was just have you blindsided by, and I wanted you to be a collaborative process with us, and what was going on, and not just be told someday, hey, you're moving over here.
Right, and this will give us a lot more space for files and everything. So I'm looking at being able to designate one room sort of as a archive for us to keep all necessary files and maps and anything that we have that we need, access to. We'll have much more space for the filing and that sort of thing. So I really feel like it's a great plan. Once it all comes together, it will be very efficient, and we're all quite excited about it.
Well, and I'm glad y'all are still going to be, across the street from the courthouse. I know we all got a little concerned when we heard the rumor y'all moving out the sheriff's office, the old office, and that would have been inconvenient to do your deed research and all.
Okay, that's all I have at this time for the chief appraiser update.
Okay, anybody got questions for Laura about just what's going on, or what our update, or any of the?
None here.
No.
Okay,
I
let's see, I understand, Lauren.
One other thing to say, Dan.
Okay.
Janet will be attending the GAAO conference in Jekyll Island next week. And she is going to take the concurrent seminars that will give legislative updates and that sort of thing. So she will be able to report back to us on the happenings. And so we're really excited about that being back on this year, since it was canceled last year. And Mr. Bickley will be attending also and he will be taking the 20-hour class on assessment administration.
Okay, great. Okay, I was about to mention that unless I believe that starts this coming Sunday. I was going to tell you, Hubert, you want to be sure to get there for that opening. I thought that reception was like finger food, but it's like a buffet. So you don't want to miss that.
Okay, I'll be there early.
With this, I think like they had seafood and steak and a big spread, and so I want to be. But let's see, that starts this coming Sunday, I believe. And goes through next Wednesday, and so. But I'm pleased that Janet's going, and and then Hubert, you can represent the board and fill us in at our next meeting on what all went on and any new developments that you learned and all. But I know you'll enjoy meeting officials from around the state, and then let's see, how's Janet coming with her appraiser 3 I know because of the training, I see the emails now that the training seems to be ramping back up to full speed, looks like, after the pandemic.
Yes,
I
they
see
have
that a lot of
only-
it's in person and some online.
They have only just released the first course for the income approach, which is what she would need to take to get to sit for her next exam. And we have discussed that, but she has not decided for sure whether she's going to attend that class or not. I know she's got some concern about, like, she feels like she's concentrating. She needs to put her concentrations on the personal property audit. She
Right,
was
get that
hoping
wrapped
to,
up.
be able to get that wrapped up prior to attempting to get her appraiser 3 certification.
Okay, okay. All right, well, we just want to, keep encouraging her to, I sort of hated, that some of the training is everything last year, with uncertainty, every sort of things got put on hold, and the revenue, they had to, they were doing some of the minimum classes they needed, virtually and all. And so, okay, great. All right, well, let's see if nobody has any other questions for Lauren on her update. We'll move on to member matters. Sandra, did you have anything this morning?
No, I don't have anything in addition to what we've already discussed.
Okay, Hubert, do you have anything?
No, sir. I'm just learning.
All right, like I say, enjoy the conference, and
I will.
yeah, I think most of the meals are included except maybe one night. But I remember they have good eating down at that conference center, and it's real nice. Let's see. One thing I was going to share with y'all, the Chamber's got a forestry dinner, and let's see, I believe it's Friday,
August 6th.
August 6th, and they got the commissioner with the Georgia Forestry Commission. Hubert, what's his name?
Tim Lowry.
Tim Lowry, okay. But I know, Lauren, you and Quentin, I know y'all have participated in some of the forestry events, and I just want to make sure y'all were aware. It's going to be a dinner. I think there's a charge of $20 to cover the catered dinner, but that's something that you might be interested in. And then Hubert and Sandra, sound Hubert, you're already aware of it, so.
Yeah, I got an email on it.
And what's the date on that?
It's
August
Friday,
6th.
August 6th. Is it 6 o'clock or 7 or I know it's an evening dinner.
I think it's 6. I don't remember. And I believe it's going to be over here at David Jordan's restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
What's that?
I think the meal is going to be over here at David Jordan's restaurant right down below the bank. If I'm not mistaken, don't hold me to that. I read the email and I just remember reading it.
Right.
But August 6th.
Right. You may be right, or it may be at the Chamber building. I learned, I think David sold that building. I think the bank.
Oh, okay. Okay. It may be at the Chamber. I remember.
And I think it may be at the Chamber building.
Yeah.
But that'll be something to look forward
Check
to.
with
Probably.
Pam Jordan knows.
Right. Mm-hmm.
She's the one that you do your reservations through.
All right. If one of y'all could just possibly send me the email you got, that would be great, because I don't have anything.
I'll do it if I kept it.
Okay. All right, let's see if nobody has anything else. Let's see. We've got a tentative date for next month's meeting. Let's see, Lauren, looks like our business today, we've met your deadlines for some of the things you needed to get done for the tax commissioner and the governing authorities and all.
Yes, sir. Let me look at my timeline and see. I think for the most part that's gotten everything. But let me pull my timeline for my yearly checklist and see what's on August.
Okay.
Really, we don't have any big actionable items for August. The only thing I have to do is just once they set the millage rate, they will get that digest submission packet, and you will have to sign that then. But the item L that was on the agenda just now, the authorization for the digest files, is the board approval. So you will be good to sign that as soon as it's ready. We won't have to take any action as the board. So
Let's see here, but you mentioned, I believe your son's getting married. Is that the end of August?
I think the week of the 17th through the 21st of August. I think we'll get down the 17th and leave on the 21st.
Okay, so we wouldn't want to meet that week. Maybe we want to tentatively say maybe the 25th of August.
That'd be fine.
let me see. August the 25th, that's the Wednesday.
Yes, it is.
I mean, right now, I don't have any conflict with that.
Nora.
So
Why don't we just
Wednesday,
say
August 25th at,
25th.
and we will just kind of touch base with each other at the beginning, or the second week of August and make sure everybody's still good to go with that date, okay?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, all right. Well, thanks, everyone. Let's see, if there's no other business, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn at 11:13.
I second the motion.
All right, we got a motion and a second to adjourn, and all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we adjourn at 11:13.
All right, y'all have a great day.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, Lauren,
All right.
and thanks